take a few questions and.
Great. Well, thank you, Robert. I think I'm bound to offend somebody in this room because we're living in a country where 90% of people claim to believe in a biblical God. I just want to assure you up front that I'm not being deliberately provocative. The point is not to offend you, and it's certainly not the point of my books. I'm just extremely worried about the role that religion is playing in our world. I happen to think faith-based religion is the most divisive and dangerous ideology we have ever concocted. It keeps me awake at night. Now, as someone who has been doing this for a while, ever since September 11th, ever since those 19 guys showed our pious nation just how socially beneficial religious certainty can be, I have argued against the role that religion is playing in our societies. And I've come to see that really there are only three ways of rising to the defense of God. There are not 100 ways of doing this. Either a person argues that a specific religion is true, or he argues that religion in general is useful, and so useful that it may be necessary, or he attacks atheism essentially as another religion, as being dogmatic, intolerant, irrational, or otherwise worthy of contempt. And so I want to separate these three modes of defending religion because any conversation between a believer and a non-believer tends to find one of these ruts. First, let's start with this claim that any one of our religions is true. There are at least two problems with taking this path. The first is they can't all be true. I mean, this is something that Bertrand Russell pointed out 100 years ago. Even if we knew that one of our religions was perfectly true, I mean, even if we knew this was God's multiple choice exam, is it A, Judaism, B, Christianity, C, Islam? Even if we knew one was perfect, given the bewildering profusion of doctrines on offer, and given their mutual incompatibility, every believer should expect damnation purely as a matter of probability. Now it seems to me this should give religious people pause when they espouse their certainties. It never does, but it should. But the deeper problem with arguing for the truth of any religion is that the evidence for our religions is either non-existent or terrible. And this subsumes all claims about the existence of a personal God, the divine origin of certain books, the virgin birth of certain people, the veracity of ancient miracles. I mean, take Christianity as an example. Christianity is founded on the claim that the gospel account of the miracles of Jesus is true. There are certain Christians that may want to hedge their bet here, but most Christians, most of the time, take some complement of these miracles as true, and most important seems to be the resurrection. Now, the problem with this is that the only thing that testifies to these miracles ever having occurred is the gospel. There's no extra-biblical description of these events. Everyone agrees that the Gospels were written decades after the events they report, the earliest Gospels. The problem is that even if the evidence were much better than that, even if we had hundreds of contemporaneous eyewitness accounts of these miracles, that would still not be good enough evidence to cash out the claims of Christianity. Why not? Well, the problem is that in the 21st century, reports of miracles are still quite common. I have met literally hundreds of Western-educated men and women who think that their favorite Hindu or Buddhist guru has magic powers. I mean, the reports of miracles are quite current. There are Hindu yogis and mystics who reportedly walk on water and raise the dead and fly without the aid of technology and read minds and divine the future. You take someone like Satya Sai Baba, the South Indian guru. All of these miracles are attributed to him. He even claims to have been born of a virgin, which incidentally is not such a rare claim in the history of religion or in history generally. Genghis Khan was supposedly born of a virgin. Alexander the Great was born of a virgin. I mean, parthenogenesis does not guarantee that you're going to turn the other cheek, apparently. So consider this. Satya Sai Baba has these miracles attributed to him by literally thousands upon thousands of living eyewitnesses. He is not the David Koresh of Hinduism. His devotees threw a birthday party for him a few years ago, and 1 million people showed up. There are millions of people who believe he is a living God. Now, so consider, as though for the first time, the foundational claim of Christianity. The claim is that miracle stories of a sort that surround a person like Satya Sai Baba today, and which are compelling to no one apart from his devotees, suddenly become especially credible if you place them in the pre-scientific religious context of the first century Roman Empire, decades after their supposed occurrence. So Satya Sai Baba's miracles don't even merit an hour on the Discovery Channel. And yet, place these miracles in an ancient text, and half the people on this earth think it a legitimate project to organize their lives around them. Does anyone else see a problem with that? All right, so let's leave aside questions of religion's truth. The second way of arguing in defense of God is to say that religion is useful, and so useful that it may be necessary. And the most common way of arguing for its usefulness is to say that it makes people moral, it consoles them, it gives their lives meaning. There are several problems with this line of argument. The first is, as a defense of God's existence, it is a total non sequitur. I mean, the usefulness of religion does not give you the slightest reason to believe that God actually exists. Every religion could function like a placebo. It could be totally barren of real content, and yet extremely useful in certain circumstances. Let's say that the cosmologists and the physicists came forward and said, sorry for the misunderstanding. It turns out there is a God, and he does have a plan for you. Let's say that happened. The fact that this idea would be consoling wouldn't provide an additional reason to believe it. I mean, if we have conquered any ground at all in the career of our rationality, it's on this distinction that there is a world of difference between wanting to believe something and having good reasons for believing it. And this is why we have phrases like wishful thinking and experimenter bias. This is why scientists do double-blind controlled studies whenever they can and submit their data for peer review. So that's the crucial piece. When you hear someone arguing for the link between morality and religion, or the fact that it gives people meaning in their lives, this is an argument about the usefulness, and this is not an argument for the plausibility of any specific religious doctrine. The other problem with arguing for the usefulness of religion is that the dangers of religion are testified to now on a daily basis by bomb blasts. I mean, how useful is it that millions of Muslims in this world believe in the metaphysics of martyrdom? How useful is it that the Shia and the Sunni in Iraq have such heartfelt religious differences? How useful is it that so many Jewish settlers think that the creator of the universe promised them a patch of desert on the Mediterranean? How useful has Christianity's anxiety about sex been these last 70 generations? Jews, Christians, and Muslims claim that their holy books are so profound, so prescient of humanity's needs, that they could only have been written under the direction of an omniscient deity. An atheist is simply someone who has considered this claim, read the books, and found the claim to be ridiculous. There is nothing that needs to be presupposed on insufficient evidence in order to reject the biblical God. I mean, what dogma have we all embraced to not take Zeus and Poseidon and Apollo into account on a daily basis? What dogma have we used to reject all of the thousands of dead gods who now lie buried in that mass grave we call mythology? Would it be dogmatic to doubt that the Iliad or the Odyssey was written by the creator of the universe? This is not dogmatism. As Carl Sagan said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. That is all you need for atheism. If ever there were an antidote to dogmatism, that's it. There's a related claim, the idea that atheism is arrogant, and science generally is arrogant in its dismissal of religion. This is really ironic. It's this claim reverberates ceaselessly in the echo chamber of American religious discourse. But it is a profound irony to see religious people praising themselves for their humility while essentially making claims about cosmology and physics and astronomy and geology and biology and paleontology and just dozens of specific sciences that no scientist could make. I mean, every religious person who takes the Genesis account of creation, say, seriously, 53% of Americans seemingly take it literally, but just even dignifying it as informative. Any person who's doing this is essentially saying to somebody like Stephen Hawking, Stephen, you're a smart guy. I see you got a lot of equations over there, but you essentially don't know enough about cosmology, because here, God did this in 6 days, and then he rested on the seventh, and I don't really, that could be a metaphor, but I don't see you really grappling with the nuances here, and they're essentially saying to someone like Richard Dawkins or Robert Trivers or any evolutionary biologist, they're saying, you're saying all this stuff about DNA and the fossil record and radiocarbon dating, but it says here that man was made in a separate act of creation, and that really we should ponder over that. And this would be amusing, this kind of covert arrogance, if it were not having such a disastrous effect, if it were not impeding the teaching of science in this country. 30% of biology teachers don't even mention evolution because it is such a hassle to deal with the religious lunacy of their students and their parents. This really is impeding medical research. It really is eroding the prestige of the United States in the eyes of the rest of the world. You saw this recent Republican debate. When asked, how many of you reject evolution? 3 arms go up. This is flabbergasting. These people are seeking the highest office, not only the highest office in the land, they're seeking more power and responsibility than any person has had in human history. So to wrap up, let me just say that none of what I've just said should be construed as a denial of the importance of ethics in our lives, or even the importance of spiritual experience. You can be someone who's deeply committed to transforming your moment-to-moment perception of the world and use techniques like meditation and fasting, and you can go into a cave for a year and be a mystic if you want to. None of that requires presupposing anything on insufficient evidence, and none of that requires that we lie to ourselves or to our children about our state of knowledge about the world. And the problem I have with religion, both at every point on the spectrum, from moderate to extreme, is that it stands as a permanent denial of the possibility of developing a truly rational, modern, open-ended discussion about the nature of our subjectivity, about the possibility of ethics and spirituality, truly in conformity with our rationality as it exists now. Every religious person, every person who's committed to still being a Christian or a Jew or a Buddhist, is essentially giving tacit endorsement to the religious divisions in our world, and essentially saying that we need some measure of mythology, we need some measure of fairy tale, we need to pretend on some occasions that we know things we do not know. And it's simply untrue. So I think that's probably enough to get us started. Thank you.